Okay, in this tutorial, what we're going to do is go into accounts payable and run a purchase journal. So we're at the master menu right now, and what we want to do is go to number 2, which is accounts payable. And number 3 basically does 3 different journals. I'm going to go there, and basically there's a transaction type 1, 2, or 3. And a 1 is an invoice, 2 is payments or check register, and 3 is your adjustments. It's all the same program, all the same file, there's just different transaction types. So I'm going to pick 1 for invoices, and I'm going to say 0701 2015, 0731 2015. So I'm getting a whole month. And I'm going to stop and take a little time to show you what happens here. With an alpha scan, you know how the alpha scan works throughout the system. I can do a question mark A, oops, and it opens up a window and lets me choose a particular vendor. I'm not going to choose any. Of course, there we go. And oh yeah, an X return always takes you back. Specific store. In this particular file, we've got multiple stores. So if I said store number 10, it's only going to give me store number 10. If I did a -10, which is what you see right here, it would give me all the stores except for number 10. And that's a standard all throughout the system. Okay, so I'm just going to go back there and do nothing. Specific tax code, recon codes for paid bills or not. You know, A is January, B is February, etc. Specific vendor, like vendors that give us discounts. Specific purchase agent, specific territory, and again you have options to sort, specific or minus. And kind of tune your eyes down to the bottom of the screen here, because that basically will show you the different things that are there. Specific GL code. We could say I want to only show computer bills. If you know what GL code you want to do. Show general ledger allocation. I'm going to come back to that a second time. So the first time we're just going to hit return all the way through. An input date. This is something interesting. You can simulate a batch. When you're putting in a bunch of invoices, they all have an invoice date, and they're all over the board. But we never ask you input date. We just stamp the record with that. So we can tell you what day you posted that batch of invoices and simulate a batch. Okay, and I'm going to print this report. Should be fairly lengthy. 22 pages. Okay, the thing I want to point out, by hitting return all the way down, it's a one-liner. We're not showing the GL distribution on here. We're just showing the purchase journal. We're showing the date of the invoice number, vendor, that says salesman, it really means sales or purchase agent, the vendor name, the net amount of the invoice, and sales tax, freight, etc. The date of input. You'll notice the date of input may not be the same as the invoice date. This is how we find people posting into a closed month, by the way. Also, this order number is if it was done with a purchase order. Now, most of your, I'll tell you, probably 70% of your purchases are inventory related, and the rest are just, you know, utilities and blah blah blah. So we're just reflecting that in your purchase journal. And then I'm just paging down here. We'll get a subtotal for your date, and we go on to the next date, and it goes on and on. Let me just go to the last page here. Save a lot of time. 22. I'm going to go to the end and then work my way backwards. So here's our general ledger distribution, and this is the summary table at the end of the report. These are just grand totals of the GL allocation. It's not per invoice, and I'll show you that in a minute. we show how many invoices hit that account. And this would be exactly the way you would do a journal entry. Most of them are debits, some of them are credits. And then I'm going to scroll down, and then at the bottom, that's the grand total hitting accounts payable, because it's going to be made up of this, plus this, plus this, and so on. And then let's go back a page, because we're also showing you, we are also showing you, there we go, what store number, like this is your store number, that's what state you spent the money at, based on the vendor's address. We know what state where the money came from, or went to, I should say. And then sometimes people put in only the name of a vendor and they don't put a state. But these are all store numbers, and then the main branch is store number space base. So this is a complete breakdown. Okay, now we're going to start this over again. This time I'm going to do number 3, transaction type 1, 0701 2015, 0731 2015. Same date range, but what I'm going to do different on this report is I'm going to say, show me the general ledger allocation. And the report's going to look quite a bit different. Okay, so now we have each individual invoice and what GL accounts that they hit. Beverage supplies, taxes, other. Accounts payable, shop tools, inventory parts, discounts earned, etc., etc. The summary pages on the end are the same. Okay, and then last but not least, I'm going to do a third one, which is going to be a check register. And I'm going to do a transaction type 2, 0701 2015, 0731 2015. I'm going to hit return all the way down. And just like we did a check run before, this is what a check run looks like in report form. Okay, so this is the check run for that date. And you get a subtotal. And then at the very end, I'm just going to jump to the end, last page, 11. And we're showing the different bank accounts that are being hit. They're not all just one. Lots of companies have multiple different bank accounts and checking accounts, etc. So I hope that was informative. Thanks for watching.